Ladies and gentlemen, Destiny 2's Crucible can be a pretty unforgiving place, especially for a new or less adept player. There is no skill-based matchmaking in your basic quick play game mode, so there's nothing keeping Johnny No Thumbs from being matched against some PvP god who just went flawless in Trials 87 times last weekend. And this can be completely demoralizing, and it's almost certain to result in a bad experience for the lower skill player. I know because I've been there. Sometimes I'm still there, especially when I'm testing out a weapon that I'm not fully comfortable with. I can have some bad rounds. Is this system right? Is this the way it should be? You know, it doesn't matter. You can piss and moan till you're blue in the face, but unless Bungie decides to approach things differently, it is what it is. What we got is what we get. So the way I look at it, there are three choices. Say F PvP and don't play it. And I would never fault anyone for that mindset. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Option 2, accept what you're given and make a conscious and mindful effort to play, practice, and improve. But if you're just someone heading into PvP to knock out some bounties or satisfy a quest step, that might not be your MO. And third choice, just try to soften the blow. And that's really what I want to focus on in this video. There's a handful of ways you can do this, but me personally, I like simple. No overcomplicated builds that force you to change your playstyle, and no poring over the armor pieces you have saved up in your vault trying to perfectly optimize that stat line. All these things absolutely will help, but I'm looking for easy. You know, just something you can throw on before you do your 3 weekly Crucible matches for that pinnacle reward, and maybe not have a terrible time. Keep in mind though, everyone plays a little bit differently, and a certain player might find success in a different manner. These are the things that have always worked for me, when my A game was not exactly present. But if at any point during the course of this video you find it useful, helpful, or enjoyable, liking and or subscribing is always greatly appreciated. As always though, feel free to wait till the video's wrapped up to make your decision on whether you think this content is worth supporting. Let's get into it though with a few very simple armor mods that will really help the cause. Alright, this is pretty much the most complicated thing we're going to get into in this video, and really it's not all that complex, and it does help out immensely. The Charge with Light system. Here's every single Charge with Light mod available in the game, and if you don't know what the hell you're looking at here, stick with me, don't get overwhelmed. The green colored mods are ways for you to become Charged with Light. Taking Charge for example, you run over an orb of power and become Charged with Light. The white mods are ways for you to acquire additional stacks. Throw on a charged up mod, and now you can carry 2 stacks of Charge with Light. The yellow mods are ways for you to spend these charges. Example, Heal Thyself. Grenade Final Blows heal you and consume 1 stack of Charge with Light. Now, there are a lot of mods here, and a lot of them have additional benefits attached to them. Some provide an additional stat boost, and some provide a passive benefit when synergized with other mods. There is a lot that you can do when working within this system, but if we're looking for bonehead, braindead simple, allow me to narrow things down. These are the mods that I'm using about 95% of the time. Taking Charge, which we already covered. Orbs of Power aren't a terribly rare sight in the Crucible, and you can make your own if you're using a masterwork weapon. So, we have our way to become Charged with Light. I'm generally running 2 stacks of Charged Up, so I can carry up to 3 stacks. I'm also usually running stacks on stacks, so every time I run over an Orb of Power, I'm getting 2 stacks of Charged with Light. And to spend these charges, High Energy Fire. It's going to give us a 20% damage increase for our weapons when we're Charged with Light, and the only way to lose these stacks is by physically securing a kill or dying. And this is a big enough bonus to either drop the time to kill on your equipped weapon, or give you a more friendly bullet combination to hit your time to kill. Which is extremely important, because sometimes the best way to stay alive is to kill your opponent first. A few honorable mentions. The weapon specific mods. If you know what weapon you're going to be running, you could consider throwing one of these on. Powerful Friends. This will help your teammates become Charged with Light and give you a substantial mobility boost. Charge Harvester. Kills and assists have a cumulative chance to make you Charged with Light. And Supercharged, if you really want to get those stacks of Charged with Light piled up as high as you can. But these 4 mods here are typically all I'm using. I really don't feel like I need much more than this. It's simple and it works just fine for what I'm doing. Next, let's take a look at some weapons that you may want to try out if things aren't going too well for you in PvP. Alright, as far as what weapons to bring into the Crucible, a lot of it's going to boil down to personal preference. I'm a big advocate for trying everything, using everything, giving every weapon and weapon archetype a fair chance. But if there's a weapon class that you're extremely comfortable with using, just ignore me. Do your thing. Don't put down a weapon that you know how to handle because me or anybody else told you should be using something different. But if you would like some suggestions, first and foremost, allow me to point you towards auto rifles. More specifically, our adaptive auto rifles, the ones firing at 600 rounds per minute. I feel like oftentimes auto rifles are looked down upon because they're quote unquote a noob weapon. To that I say, screw that. If things aren't going well in the Crucible for you, use what works. I really think auto rifles are a great choice for a less skilled player or someone who's just not landing their shots that day. Something like Gnawing Hunger, which was absolutely everywhere in Season of Arrivals, pre-nerf, is still a solid weapon in a decent weapon archetype. Are adaptive autos struggling a bit in the current meta? Yes, but they're still a very easy weapon archetype to use. It's got a 0.8 second time to kill. It's competitive. The body shot time to kill comes in at 1.3 seconds. Not terrible. Its range can stretch out to about 30 meters and performs pretty well at closer ranges. And more importantly, missing a shot or two isn't gonna tank your time to kill like it would if you were using a slower firing precision-based weapon. Plus, you can just focus on putting bullets down range. Even if you're not outright securing kills, putting damage on an enemy target can help out your teammates. And believe me, if your teammates are playing better, you're gonna have a better time because of it. Our rapid fire autos could do the trick also. They do kill a little bit quicker, but you're sacrificing range and they can be a tad bit jumpy. But something like Arctic Haze might be worth trying out. And while we're on the topic of autos, if you have Cerberus +1, give it a chance. It's a weird gun, but if you're having a rough go of it, weird might be what you need. It does a healthy amount of damage from mid-range in, and requires very little precision. And it's a great personal defense weapon if you're constantly getting rushed by shotgunners. Sticking with primary weapons, if you prefer to keep your distance and stay out of the fray, which is not a bad game plan, Dead Man's Tale is stupid good, even if you don't have the Catalyst. The Catalyst does provide a lot of versatility, allowing this weapon to play at closer ranges also, but just right out of the box. It's accurate, it's stable, and has 2-tap potential. It is a precision-based weapon, but it has nearly unlimited range, letting you keep yourself tucked away in a safe spot. And really, it's not difficult to use at all. 120 RPM hand cannons, again, a precision-based weapon, which I normally wouldn't suggest if you're having a tough time. But in the current sandbox, they're too strong to deny, really. They can pack a serious punch from extended range as well. We'll have to see how they feel next season when their range is decreased, but right now, they're good. They're really good. If you can follow the action around a map and just stay slightly removed from the middle of the gunfight, you can net a lot of easy defeats and cleanup kills. Also, maybe take a look at the high impact, adaptive, and rapid fire pulse rifles. They inherently do perform pretty well from longer ranges. High impact pulses do require a good bit of precision, but if you're playing a little more passive and selecting when and where to engage, this archetype is extremely deadly. Adaptive pulses are a solid middle of the road weapon. They don't have the quickest time to kill, but they don't come equipped with any major pitfalls to look out for either. They're just a sturdy and consistent mid to long range weapon. The rapid fires like Time Worn Spire, which is the only non-sunset one that we have, it's great for bullet spam. Just like we talked about with our auto rifles. Even if you're not securing kills, get some bullets on that target, help your team out. Speaking of pulse rifles, Vigilant Swing. I highly recommend this weapon if things are just not going good. 5 crits and 5 body shots in 2 bursts is all you need to down your target. Its intrinsic trait's gonna boost your survivability, and it's extremely viable anywhere inside of 35 meters. As far as special weapons, shotguns are always gonna be a safe bet. In the current sandbox, I can't not recommend Fell Winters, unfortunately. Overused, yes, but it's overused for a reason. It's a great shotgun. Don't sleep on lightweight shotguns though, like the CQC or the Retro Futurist. 1, you're gonna move a little bit faster when they're equipped, so if you're getting pushed, you have the ability to be a little more evasive. 2, they have an 80 RPM fire rate, which allows for a quicker follow-up shot if the first one doesn't do the trick. 2 other weapons that you might want to take a look at, Jotun and Telesto. Both are exotic fusion rifles, and both are extremely annoying to play against. Both have their own unique benefits, and both are very easy to use. Even if you don't like fusion rifles, either one could be worth a try if things just aren't working out. But like I said earlier, use what you're comfortable with. These are just my suggestions if I feel like I'm poking around in the dark in PvP. But we'll get into a few more general thoughts that I have about things that could make your life easier in the Crucible, and then we'll get things wrapped up. Okay, just a couple of things to touch on regarding other aspects of PvP. Your resilience stat and your recovery stat. And you don't have to go crazy with these. You know, if you're just hopping in for a few matches and you're already set up for PvE and you don't want to completely blow up your build, don't worry about it too much, just kind of make sure these stats don't get too low. Recovery and the speed at which you regen your health is a great survivability tool. Same with the resilience stat, having just a few extra hit points might allow you to walk away from a situation that otherwise you would have died in. I think that 6 is a good healthy middle of the road number for either of these two stats. Also, it's not a bad idea to boost up the stat that governs your class ability. With this, you're getting double benefits, both the stat bonus and the faster ability cooldown. And if you have an exotic armor piece that you think could help you in some way, shape, or form, throw it on. Even if you're not going to get much use out of it, some use is better than none. And as far as gameplay goes, I really only have one piece of advice that kind of encompasses everything. Slow it down. And by slow it down, I don't mean just stand off in a corner of the map waiting for some unsuspecting soul to waltz into your area. That, my friend, can be extremely boring. But you don't need to go full bore, full time, constantly diving headfirst into the enemy team. Some players can pull this off. If that's you, awesome. But you're not exactly the target audience for this video. If you're not playing well on a given day, or just not that great at PvP in general, cool it on the hyper-aggressive gameplay. Move around the map with a sense of purpose. Use cover, watch your positioning, and maybe at least try to play in the same general area as some teammates. If you're off wandering around on your own, you're usually an easy target. And don't be too proud to disengage. If things go to hell in a handbasket during an engagement, GTFO, man. You know that old saying, pride goeth before the fall? It applies. In Destiny terms, it's more like pride goeth before someone pops you in the face with a 120 RPM hand cannon and you're waiting to respawn.
Pride only hurts. It never helps.
You don't need to be the hero of every match. It can be fun to try to be, but without the skill set and experience to pull it off, it usually doesn't work out that way. Stay alive, pick your engagements, play your game, give yourself a chance to succeed. And if you keep these few tips in the back of your mind, next time you hop into the Crucible, hopefully it'll be a smoother experience. But if you did enjoy this video, feel free to leave it a like and consider subscribing to the Ironworker Gaming channel to catch more Destiny 2 content presented by yours truly. If you'd like to contact me, you can look for Ironworker814 on Twitter, join our community Discord, link will be in the description, or comment down below and I will do my best to get back to you. And with all that being said, I'd like to thank you for taking the time out of your day to check out this video. You guys are awesome, and I will catch you on the next one.